Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV and a new edition of our online interview series. We want to talk to Tudor Gold, and Ken Konkin, the CEO, is here with us this morning. Hey, how are you?
Hey, very well, thank you.
All good
Glad
in Canada. Fantastic, super. Yeah, Tudor Gold, lots of things happened. I'm a shareholder of the company, just for disclosure reasons here also, to make sure that everybody knows that. And I'm a happy shareholder despite the share price, but it was hammered like everybody was hammered in the last weeks and months due to the weak precious metals markets. But a lot is coming up here. On 4th August, you published a news release that you have a plan of arrangement that you want to spin out your Goldstorm deposits, let's call it like this, into Goldstorm Metals. So we had already some viewers asking us why you are doing this, what is the reason for, how does it work, how many shares will I receive, when will it be listed, what price will it be traded. So please elaborate a bit on your game plan here.
Yeah, glad to clarify the bit of a muddied water. The misconception is we're not touching anything with the joint venture of the Treaty Creek claims. That stays under Tudor Gold Corp. Nothing changes. It's running under that symbol along with the basically, there's one other claim that's off to the immediate west, which we call as from the SK North, Northern SK. That stays with Tudor Gold, but this is very much like dealing hands in blackjack, where you get two face cards and right away you split them. You're playing two hands forward. So no different than that. So to the south immediately is the Crown claims and the other southern, basically almost subcontingent, the Electrum claim. Those will be spun out under a new name, and we typically would maybe this is part of the confusion. I take always the parent Discovery and create that to be the daughter company name. So Goldstorm Metals Corp will then run those satellite peripheral southern claim block that are in the Nisga'a territory, First Nations, and we will absolutely keep everything to the north with the Tahltan separation. So it's definitely one of the more important aspects that we have for Discovery, because we actually run the totally separate, total new ticker will come out September 7th trading. So I believe it's at 26 cents will be the opening round. So it's a ground floor, more of a preliminary rather than advanced group of claims. So I would like to get it to a drill stage, but the important takeaway is the geological trend. And I think we have a very good shot at repeating history with finding that same structural basic sulfurettes thrust trend runs south, as well as the Brucejack Fault. So it's immediately south of the Brucejack Newcrest Valley of King's Ground, and the continuation of KSM, we hope. That same structural trend, the same rocks, the same Kaiba red line between Triassic, Jurassic. There's gold showings on the property. I've known the property for several decades. I've worked on it. We picked it up from our joint venture partner, Teuton. And I think it's going to be an exciting play, because we have a potential for Electrum, was a possible small producer of a high-grade Electrum basic orogenic deposit. And it's also got some polymetallic veins, including very high-grade silver that we've had recently. So a lot going on for the company in that regard, but nothing changes with Tudor. The Goldstorm deposit is safe. It's not being split up or chopped up. Just the name has been donated to these the new GMC Goldstorm Metals Corp as the new company we're flying with these southern claims. Yeah.
Okay, super. So you are still doing then the exploration and the geologist work, correct. I would call it. And who will be the CEO?
I will be the president CEO of that company going forward. And so basically anybody who has has 4 shares of Tudor will be given 1 share of GMC, of Goldstorm Metals Corp, for this spin out. So that's the basically compensation for doing that. And so, like I say, it's like playing 2 hands of poker. You get 2 face cards, may as well, going forward. And who knows, I mean, what happens with something like your asset. You protect your big asset is what happens, and you basically take away all the other aspects and try to double down. We're trying to do this again, a repeat, for sure.
Okay, super, perfect. So that means to me that you are, as you said, two face cards. It sounds
Yeah,
to
well,
me a
that's
little
great.
bit like,
We've
yeah,
got, you know, if you will, if I could be so
yeah,
bold to say, we have a pair of aces here for sure, as far as
yeah.
property and real estate location. So structurally, so looking forward, absolutely, from a geological standpoint of view, and the potential is absolutely extreme. I mean, it's a very prolific trend when you start talking about everything that happened to the south from Sobek Premier. I mean, Scotty, all of those come along
Mhm,
that trend and then it jumps over a bit to the next valley. That's the Salmon River Valley. Then you jump over to the Frank
mhm,
Mackey Valley, which is all the stuff we're finding KSM, Brucejack, Goldstorm. All that structural trend is there. So that crown claim encompasses a wide band and covers off a lot of geology that all of these deposits occur within. So
mhm,
we're very hopeful for another discovery, a repeat.
mhm. Okay, super. So that looks to me a little bit like that you are making it easier or lighter to do M&A transactions.
Yeah, it's something that gives it an added look. I mean, it's like doubling down. You try to take advantage of everything you've got. So I think it's a very smart move corporately. I think it's going to give people a second look for what our geological team. So we inherit all that. We'll call it, the basically the intellectual property that we've amassed from from Natalie Singer's part of the group. The same shareholder structure will be disseminated between people that want to come in on ground level floor. Eric Sprott will be part of that because of its
Mhm,
4-1 affiliation of 20% or 17% ownership of Tudor. Will
mhm.
carry forward for Goldstorm for that. Yes.
Okay, super, perfect. So then we were talking already about geology and stuff like this. I saw in one of your press releases, I think it was from the 26th July, that you have a drill program there with 20,000 meters, and you
Yeah.
had, yeah, fantastic results. I would say 12th July, you reported 237 meters of 1.5 gram gold equivalent per ton. I mean, that is really great. Also, you had like here 71 grams gold equivalent over 1 meter, within 39 grams gold equivalent over 2 meters, within a 225-meter northeast step out hole. Yeah, that is fantastic, I would say. So it looks to me like that Goldstorm, yeah, property or the transaction, yeah, it looks really favorable.
Yeah, the actual, well, that's the spin out. The actual company, the actual
Yeah, the spin out.
deposit,
Sorry.
gold.
Yeah.
The deposit itself, look, I mean, honestly, when we sat there designing the drill holes, it was like we didn't think we were stepping up quick enough. And so we sat down, Natalie and I, and we came up with this model where we would try and cover off as much real estate as possible with drill holes. But typically, you would drill one, have success with it, and drill the other. But we came up with the idea that we just don't have the time. So we have to concurrently drill holes. Like, what if, say, hole 133 didn't hit for the first step
Mhm.
out? So that wouldn't have had 143 after that, after 133. Well, 134 was started at the same time as 133. Well, 133 clearly did hit, as did hole 134. However, of those three holes, nobody predicted we'd hit high grade like we did. So all of this kind of wishful thinking of having a deposit within a deposit, we always thought it would happen closer to the Brucejack Lake Fault because it was the model that we had structurally for the perfect structural storm being basically the Brucejack Fault and the thrust, the self-directed treaty thrust system. But now we're seeing on these wild step outs. Now we're talking 500 meters on step out for hole 134, and that's crazy when you sit there and consider we got almost 4.5 meters of 20 grams or 4.5 meters of
Mhm.
20-gram gold within still that CS 600 system. And furthermore, when we did continue drilling off of pad, I guess it would have been 9 or 8, one of the 8 A or Bs, on pad 8, we hit yet more high grade, but this time, this one it was reminiscent of stuff that we've seen in basically Valley of Kings, where we see this colloidal looking gold that's not associated with specifically veins or veinlets or structural controlled systems. So now we're 2 for 2 on big step outs. One hole was a 225-meter step out. That's not a
Mhm.
small step out. The other one was a 500-meter step out. This is
Mhm.
insane. We're not that lucky. I don't believe in luck. I believe in probability. So let's just look at what happens. And to be clear about it, we've never targeted high grade, and showing up in a way that serendipitously that in chance find, it's exactly what happened with Valley of Kings. We never targeted high grade for that. We were targeting exactly this system. We were going after a higher grade form of, say, a snowfields, and we were hunting it, and we came across basically a deposit within a deposit. It's essentially a large bulk tonnage, low grade envelope that has a high grade system within it. But the curious part about this one is the two intercepts were probably 900 meters apart vertically because of the vertical component, which is a huge similarity to what happens at Valley of Kings, because we had a hole earlier on in, I think it was 2019, hole 57, where we saw 3 hits of visible gold, again, within the same hole, but at 300 meters, 600 meters, and 900 meters. Again, I did not turn our drills onto that. We didn't go after it. So we found it ubiquitously throughout the system and didn't really give it a, let's say, a tighter spacing to chase it. So we will, by way of filtering out, first, let's step out and finish off the Goldstorm deposit, all the 4 domains, 5 domains now, if you include that one spectacular hole that we did expand Route 66, R66 zone. It didn't fit anything before. We had one hole in it. Sure enough, we stepped out and it's there. It's a gold dominant system, a very unique signature to it. But as all the other domains too, are none of them are looking like signs of shutting down anytime soon. So we're now cleaning up all the drilling going forward, trying to fill in that massive real estate. I mean, it was a half a kilometer step out. So when you're talking about a system that's already in excess of 1.4 kilometers, it's the target's just growing. It's immense. To me, it's
fantastic, super. From those 20,000 meters, how much have you done? How many meters have you done? What is still left, and how is it looking with the next news flow out of that?
I think our phase 1 was projected to go more or less to 30,000 meters. We've now basically done that. We've completed phase 1. We've gotten right through it. So our drilling, the 8 drills absolutely crushed it this year. We absolutely did not have any issues with downtime because of COVID, that sort of thing. We did a great job of drilling off well ahead of schedule. We're beyond a month ahead of schedule on this one. So the drilling went extremely well. So what we've reported is essentially approximately a third of that. So we've got another 20,000 meters of results coming, more or less. Wow. And so there's going to be a pretty steady flow of news coming out within this block that we're talking about, this northeastern element. There's also that southeastern element too of DS5 that we chased and successfully. It basically did not find any dark green dead rock yet. So it's going, all domains are expanding. So it's going to be interesting. I think this is all going to grow to going back and looking at all the model and revamping a new resource coming out next year after we finish the drilling. So we'll see how far we go and how far we get with this. We're ahead of schedule.
So the resource next year, would it be Q1, Q2? What do you think?
You know, I probably between the two, I'll say on the border between them, because it always takes a lot longer. We take our consultants and we go through it and we double check, triple check, and we often will run simultaneous consultants at the same time to make sure we don't screw up the number, because it's probably the most important thing you can have in a company is getting the absolute most accurate, and in the past was the most conservative. So I suspect because these grades that we're intersecting, like the one you've mentioned, 1.5 grams, well, that's basically double our global 0.74, right? So when we actually incorporate the higher grades, we can probably expect a bump in that value, and that's the idea. You don't want to go the other way. I mean, you don't want to basically add ounces of 0.5 gram, or I mean, that's not really where we need to be. We need a robust economic model at the end so we can carry that forward for a preliminary economic assessment and then the feasibility. So all of this is going towards the end game here is to see how fast and we can get to that point. But when you have the beast, just keeps on growing. I mean, my gosh, it's it's a daunting task. You've got all these balls in the air, you've got all these targets that we're after and chasing, and we did hit also on the calm before the storm, but we just didn't go back and chase it because it was too big of a target to basically finish off the drilling. We realigned on last year's Superstar hole 113, and we essentially added, I think it was almost 300 meters, 280 meters to the hole. So I'm dying to see what that new composite is going to come out at, and that's going to be within our grasp here, probably a week or so, maybe two. We'll see that all those results come back. But so far, we've been able to successfully look at raising money and continue to do so because just the potential of this thing is incredible, and I think people see value.
Yeah, well, raising money, that would be also my next question, because you're doing that now with a $7 million brokered private placement. I mean, everybody has, let's say, not total problems or heavy problems, but a lot of problems still in the markets with those weak markets. You obviously have no problem to raise money, but it speaks for yourself and probably for the quality of the company and your results you're publishing.
It is an impressive kind of commentary on the company, but we're not happy about the price where it's at. But it is more important to keep the drive alive. I mean, we're going to get that's on results on drilling, and that's what I've said from day one. Like I meant in the comment, you put your head down, just drill. You go right through these lows, and you come out the other end. But now, and so some of the comments, and one of the funnier parts was when we sat down with our planning stage with Natalie and I said, well, let's drill a hole we're not expected to hit on. Let's just swing for the fences, and we hit. I mean, that was incredible. That hole, one going out there with that 134 and hitting that thing way out there at meters of 20 grams was incredible. So for me, it's brilliant. And then the next hole, the backup one, is the 225 meter step out, and this one's outside the domain. So this thing has got tentacles. I mean, this overprinted system that you're seeing, this high grade system, has got its own set of parameters now, which is the incredible part of this whole story. So let's see where it goes, and we're just going to keep drilling, and we keep hitting these things, whether it's chance find, serendipity. Now we know that definitely that northeast is a hot area. MDRU came in and took some samples of our hole 113, and they have a comparative analysis on the type of copper we're hitting. So as you're getting deeper, you're getting boronite, but also they predicted the better grades, not only copper but gold. So predictably, it's coming out. Empirically, we're showing it. We're demonstrating that to be true. So let's see. And we need, and for being that deep, you absolutely needed better grades. I mean, let's be honest about it. You can't go and drill these kind of holes and not expect to, have kind of like weak superficial grades. So as a deposit begins at surface, in the past, 300 horizon was the superstar. Now it's becoming CS600. CS Copper Stream 600 is taking on a life of its own. So it's now taking probably center stage for all the deposit. This one, because it does contain overprinted high grade gold with it.
Okay, wow, fantastic. So what do you think, in addition, you like to achieve? Now it's August. I mean, September shouldn't be a problem. Maybe October, snow could already kick in. But what do you think might be possible that you can accomplish until it's getting too tricky to drill?
Well, this goes back to the issue of fair shift changes. If we were on the ice having a success, we can actually do all terrestrial shift change, but this is all air supported. Now we're up on the mountain again. It comes down to 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness. You can't fly shifts, and when they become 13-hour, 11-hour shifts, 13-hour basically would be the night shift, and 11-hour day shift. You really got to take a hard look at shutting things down, because it's not possible to do a full air supported or helicopter supported shift change at that point. So we'll look at it. We'll see if we can get satellite targets. One of the things we can do on the basically backing out is on an exit strategy, as I call it, is maybe drill a couple holes at calm before the storm, because it's lower in elevation. You're right by the lower camp, and continue with some exploration ongoing there. But definitely, if we can go as far as we can go, and the other one is the aspect that one always asks, like, how much do you go into weaker markets? If there's markets that are responding, we'll respond back by keep drilling. If we can get a bit of momentum here, and get some growth, then absolutely. I don't think it'll be an issue to do another raise if we want to do that, or if we want to say, okay, we're good enough where we are. This will take us to the PEA. Get stage to the PEA from a basically a new resource calculation, right? A new updated resource, and see. So a lot of parameters we can't forecast, but yeah, October is foreseeable for sure.
Okay.
Go into November? Well, probably not because of market conditions and what it's going to cost us to be there. However, if we hit something that's really interesting and demand is there, we'll keep going.
Absolutely. So I just heard the word PEA also. So it would be, let's say, possible next year already to work then fully on the PEA?
Yeah, that again, it really, and I keep going back to this, and it's a difficult thing because you have to have the pit configuration, you have to have your domains with your model, with your mine model. At one point, we're going to have to look at it. If it just keeps on growing, we're going to have to say, okay, cut it off here. If we got X amount of millions of ounces, let's take the core of these and just go with that and just make a decision. So, but that's a whole new group of set of engineering. That's a skill set that's just beyond the exploration aspect of it, but you still got to do the exploration. So now he's going to try and train him for gold exploration, because I think this exploration is going to be immense for what we're looking at. Our team is now going out, finding new zones, new ablated areas that I'll just kind of hint to, that we've sampled, we've given new great names to. So let's just see if we get some joy back on that. If we get some positive numbers coming out of this thing, then yeah, we're going to just create new names and create new zones and keep it going. But the big thing is we can't take the eye off the prize, and that is to stitch off Goldstorm. Let's up CS600. We had huge success on completing these holes to the base to get down through the treaty thrust fault. And one of the shocking aspects of that we thought that was the end of the system. It's not. The system punched down through TTF2. We thought that was the marker of the end. It's not. It just keeps on going. There's a stockwork that penetrates that. So it's every time you think you've written the rules or the guidebook on how to explore at Treaty Creek, no. The system teaches you. I mean, you're sitting there as a student. If you're smart enough as a good geologist, if I may, it sounds like a lunacy, but the rock to the talking, you just have to be a smart enough geologist to see what they're saying, or pick off the key indicators or the key clues that lead you to basically the sweet spot, and that's what we're after. So every time I thought we'd be out, we'd be done. No, Goldstorm's letting us out. No, it's not. So here we go. Full on. Bring it on.
Super, perfect. Yeah, when the rock is talking to you, you have to listen very carefully.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a four-dimensional problem. It's not only X, Y, Z, but it's also the time when, because these things get sliced and diced and moved structurally. So I lie awake with this thing trying to unravel that four-dimensional Rubik's Cube. And so far we've been lucky because we've not guessed incorrectly. But sooner or later, the goal is you've got to get to a dark green propylitic rock or a dead-looking intrusive that is dead, and that's the goal. And that's the goal. That's the underlying thing. But when we put numbers like this, forget about it. It just keeps growing. So we don't know. I mean, it's every time I have this discussion with other geologists, they say, "Man, I'm telling you, the system just keeps on going." With other people that have had systems this size, they said, "This is the thing about this. Look for depth. Look for plumes. Look for this and indicators in the northeast. All of that is coming. Science is backing up what we've been saying all along." So.
Yeah, super. Perfect. Ken, thank you very much for the update. It was fantastic. I'm still happy shareholder. I know you.
When you start expanding and looking at all these other zones, then every one of these is a chapter to the book. So let's just move it forward as best as we can.
Exactly.
Drill lousy markets, and there's no other word for it, or non-existent dysfunctional, but just be patient. I think we will be rewarded. And again, I maintain that if you could find this is absolutely the dream project in probably one of the most stable geopolitical arenas out there. So we're just blessed we've got this for sure. And we've got a good crew, everybody's healthy, so knock on wood, we keep going.
Super, perfect. Keep it going. That's a great final sentence. Thank you very much, Ken, for your time. That looks all great. Wish you well, and I have a good feeling that we talk probably the next 4 to 6 weeks again, because you have more and more results then. Great.
Absolutely. I look
All
forward
the
to
best. Thank you very much, Ken. Super. Take care. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ken Konkin, the CEO of Tudor Gold. And you heard it. Everything is in good shape. They are probably 1 month ahead of their schedule with all the drilling. And yeah, so far the results are fantastic. Also with the spin out of Goldstorm Metals, I think it's the right way. It makes the company a little bit lighter and easier to do M&A. And as said, even when they drill a hole where they thought there is nothing, they still find mineralized ore. And that is outstanding. And it is, I would say also, and I would agree with Ken, one of the best projects in the world in a super safe jurisdiction. And that's exactly what the big boys are hunting for. So I wouldn't be astonished if there will be sooner than later an M&A transaction, because that's exactly what those guys are looking for. Make sure you own some Tudor Gold shares. I do, definitely, and I'm happy. And probably I will buy some more at those cheap, fancy prices, because that's not the real value of the company. But sometimes the stock exchange has opportunities for you, and you should buy when it's cheap, of course. So the quality of the company is there, the team is there, Ken is there. That's how we want it. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Austria today.